Hi, welcome to my channel. This video has come about because of a reader, somebody that read my book Wishful Thinking, which is a fictional telling of the law of attraction manifestation. I wrote it back in 2018 and I just stuck it out there. I didn't really do much with it because I didn't know even what I wanted to do anything with it, or whether I even wanted to do anything with it. I just didn't know. And when I was writing it, what I was really doing was trying to construct a story from beginning to end that made sense in the middle, but also that was a bit of a self-help thing for me as I was writing it. It really was useful to me as I wrote it. And all the way through this book, there is a string of a specific person thread running all of the way through it, but it's her best friend, who becomes her ex-best friend, rather than a standard romantic interest. I just wanted to get over what was going on here without necessarily going down that typical specific person route. Basically, I'm going to call her Lizzie because it's just easier if I can choose a name, and she knows that I'm making this video and she's absolutely good with it, but she didn't want me to use her name. So Lizzie said, oh my God. So what happened was, Lizzie was very much like me back in the day. Basically, she got on board with manifestation. She said, oh my God, I'm manifesting things. And she was making things happen left, right and centre, really having fun with it. And then she went down the rabbit hole. She started watching too much online. She started reading too much. Very much the same as me, where she'd be reading stuff and she didn't even know who she was reading. So basically, when she bought the Kindle version of Wishful Thinking, she didn't really pay attention to my name and who it was that had written it or anything like that. She just added it to her list of books that she was reading. She thought, oh, that sounds interesting. I'll have a look at that, basically. And so she bought it, and it was a while before she actually got around to reading it. And then she read it. Now, she emailed me the very next day after she finished reading it, and she was digesting it, and she said, oh my God, this was a light bulb moment to me. This really has changed the way I feel about manifestation. But she did say to me, she said, it's not that I read anything that I didn't already know, as it were, but it just took me back to that person that I was before I went down this rabbit hole, and I realised why things weren't happening and why things were happening in a certain way and why my life was unfolding like this. And she did take it back to the specific person thing, and actually she is in a relationship with somebody else now and she's perfectly happy. But she said, had I have read this back then, I really truly believe that I would have kind of understood it more and known what was going on inside of me was why I was seeing what I was seeing. And anyway, she's like, I believe there would have been a different outcome. She said, I'm perfectly happy as I am now, but it's really interesting to me to realise that. And so then she said, I'm not going to read anything else for at least a year. Whether she'll stick to that or not, who knows. But she said, because I really want to let this settle in. I want to go back to the me from before. I want to go back to that me that was managing to make things happen, that wasn't getting so caught up with too many people's opinions. That's what she said. She said, I'm reading too many people's opinions on it, and I'm watching too many people's opinions basically online, on YouTube. And that's what I need to stop, because that is what has messed me up. And she didn't use the word messed. And the reason I found it so interesting was because it was exactly as I was. It was such a reflection of me back in the day when I did this, and I dropped into that rabbit hole and I stayed there for a year or so before I pulled myself up. And at first thought, oh, I'm done with the law of attraction. I am done with manifesting, done with it. I'm just going back to my life as it was, forgetting all about it. And of course you can't. Once you know, you can't unknow it, can you? Unless you're knocked over the head and you forget about it completely. You cannot unknow what you know, and you cannot change. You cannot go back to that person that you were before, but you can go back to the energy you had before, and you can go back to the way that you were dealing with it before. So taking it a bit more lightheartedly and not overthinking things and not bringing circumstances in and trying to, oh, they don't matter, and kind of making it into such a part of your life that you're not living your life because you're too busy trying to manifest everything rather than living the life that you have in front of you at the moment. And you're not realizing actually that you are creating everything anyway. So what you see at the moment is your creation. It's nothing more than your creation. Nothing else is creating it for you. So that's why I wanted to make this, because so then I wanted to talk about, I wanted to make it not to just say, oh, she read my book and now she's going to be awesome at this. What I wanted to do was talk about the title, Wishful Thinking, and what do I mean by wishful thinking. The reason I called it wishful thinking is because I realised that that is what I was doing before, when I was good at it and when I was making things happen and changing my life in various different ways. And then I realised that I lost that. I lost the wishful thinking element of it. I lost the wish for it. I got lost in the mire of everything else, rather than just going back to that, the wish for that thing. Because what the wish for it is the vibration of it, is the frequency of it, is the energetic value of it, that is then bringing that back to you, that is then being shown back to you in 3D reality, because you've had it pure. You've just had this wish for it and this feeling of it, this thought about it with a feeling attached to it, and then it showed up in your life and you think, oh wow, how cool is that? What coincidence is that? How random is that? No, it's not. It's because you've had that pure feeling of it and it's not being messed up with anything else. That is why I go back to that, and that is why now this is probably, I guess this is what I do again now. I went through a phase of doing nothing at all, just knowing what I wanted and thinking, no, I'm just going to live my life and I need to just carry on living my life, enjoying my life, and I don't have to do any manifestation techniques. I know they're not necessary, and they're not, and that works for me. But recently, the last 6 months or so, I've got really, really into the subconscious mind. I always have been, but I'm really ramped it up, talking to myself. So I'm constantly talking to my subconscious and asking it for things. So, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? So it's asking, it is given, really. Neville's asking, it is given. That's all that I'm doing, but I'm asking my subconscious. But again, you can class that as wishful thinking, because I have the wish for it as I'm asking for it. And I'm asking me, I'm not asking anything else. I'm asking that part of me that makes the magic happen. I'm asking it to do its stuff, to bring this to me. But again, it's the wish. I have a wish for it, and I'm just translating that into a request to my subconscious to bring it to me. So that is what Lizzie was doing beforehand, before she went down that rabbit hole. And I bet most of us have been down there, or some of you are still there. And it's not a great place to be, because it makes you feel like you are wading through treacle to make anything happen. And so you're just not getting those things show up in your life, because you're in try hard mode, and you have heard about persistence, and you think persistence, and you've translated persistence as doing lots of things in order to get what you want. But that's not, to me, that's not what persistence is. Persistence is just the knowing that I can do this, and the feeling of it, holding it in my heart, what I want, knowing that it's possible, and going, yeah, I can do this, I can do this, I can have that. I don't know when it's going to show up. I can't control time. I'm not the master of time. Maybe I can, but I don't even know how to begin to start doing that. So time is not my business. Time has nothing to do with me. Take that out of the equation. It is not your job to work out when it's going to happen. All it's your job to do is to have the wish for it, that wishful thought, that feeling of it, to have that, to know it's possible, to feel it's possible, feel the possibility, then it becomes a probability, and then just to let reality do the rest for you. Let everything unfold for you in the best way possible. So maybe just for a moment, suspend everything else that you're doing and thinking and feeling, and just go with this and go, okay, let's accept that Evie might be right. Actually, just might be right. So why don't I just feel the wish for it? Let's just feel the wish for it. Tell myself why I want it, how it will enhance my life. Feel that wish for it, and know that that is my frequency then on the subject, is that. So I have created the energetic value of that within me, and then let's not do anything else. Hold it in my heart, the knowledge that I can have it, and I do still really want it, but don't do anything else, and let's just do that, and do it with lots of things. Don't just do it with the one thing, and don't feel you have to be realistic either. Do it for huge things too. Do it for massive things that you think are really out of the realms of probability, not possibility, but probability. And it's much easier to do it with the big things, because you don't hold on to kind of looking for it, because you're half not expecting that it could ever happen. You don't do that, so you don't have that observation part going on. And the bigger things, for me, the huge things in my life that have really transformed my life, have happened really quick, because I've almost, part of me has thought, God, I can't see how that can happen. So I'm not looking for it, because I'm half not expecting it to happen. It's a funny thing, isn't it? But anyway, I just wanted to make this because I thought it might be useful to other people. And if you haven't read it, like I said, I've done nothing to promote it, so you may not have even heard of it, because I know how to promote my other stuff, because it's my self-help stuff and it's based on my videos. So that's easy. to market, but this has never particularly been easy to market, so I've just kind of just left it and thought, well, if some people read it and get something from it, that's awesome, and that's what's happened here. And I thought, actually, you know, just talk about it as if a law of attraction self-help book, a manifestation self-help book. That's what it is, and I'll never mention it in the book. It's never mentioned, not once, but you will know as you're reading it. You're going, oh my god, yeah, I can see where that happened for her, I can see where that happened. And it just gives you a different feeling, I think, when you come to the end of it. When I finished writing it, I thought, oh, I felt like I'd created a new understanding for myself just by writing it. So, you know, if it helps anybody in that way, then that is great, isn't it? So maybe I do need to look at putting it in with the rest of the stuff that I do market, and just marketing it as all part of the same sort of self-help package. Okay, I hope this was useful. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, I'd love for you to do that.